Hey guys, so if you like movies about sharks and movies about serial killers like I do, you're in luck. You don't have to choose between the two genres anymore. They've come together from Aussie director Sean Byron. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Anyway, so this is a movie that was shot in Australia, and as an Australian, I had an appreciation for that. Seeing areas that I visited before just was really cool. This stars Jai Courtney, who is also an Australian, and it is so weird to hear Australian actors that have been mainly in American movies and shows finally use their real accent. It's really jarring at first. Anyway, the director is a really talented guy. He directed The Loved Ones, which is another Australian horror movie that I really enjoyed. That was starring Xavier Samuel. Yeah, he's in another shark movie, an Australian shark movie that nobody talks about, Bait. That's another really good shark movie. So this is about a guy that takes tourists out on those shark tours, the, nightmare of going underwater in a cage with sharks and paying for it and just hoping that you don't get eaten or drowned. I mean, why would you pay for that? I don't know. But anyway, people do it. He takes them out onto the water and feeds them to the sharks. So yeah, if you're squeamish, I would say this isn't too bad. It isn't really that gory. I was surprised that they didn't have more gore in this because usually shark movies are like that. But yeah, if you're squeamish, you're going to be fine in this movie. So it comes out here in Australia on June 12th. I got to go see it last night at the Sydney Film Festival, which was really cool because the director was there. And he did a Q&A at the end, and that was really good to get to see his insights into the movie and what was going through his mind making it. So I feel like if Blue Crush, Wolf Creek, and Jaws were put in a blender, this is what would come out basically. So Jai Courtney, I can't say that I've seen a lot of him since Divergent, and I feel like the guy gets a lot of flack for his acting, but I think he did a really good villain in Divergent, though I was like a lot younger when I watched it, so I think I was more easily impressed, but now I tend to pick apart things more. And I have to admit he didn't do a great job in Die Hard, which is the only thing I've really seen him in. Oh, of course, Captain Boomerang. He was good as Captain Boomerang, but he just takes it to another level. He is so good in this. He's definitely the standout of the movie. And he's so terrifying. And it's not just his physicality, it's his overall presence and the way he carries himself. Like, he's joking around with the tourists, and it sort of reminds me of the villain of Wolf Creek, how he would joke around with the tourists, but there'd be something so menacing about it that it would actually make him scarier. But yeah, he was definitely the standout of the movie. For me, definitely one of the best performances of the year, and definitely one of the best movies of the year. So our final girl is a surfer chick named Zephyr. She's living like the bohemian travel surfer lifestyle. I didn't have a problem with her per se. She was fine, but I just feel like it was a little too on the nose. They kept telling us she's so tough, and it's like, show us, don't tell us. Good filmmaking is about showing, and well, yes, they do show us to a degree. Like, she does a lot of things that are pretty smart and badass. Yes, I admit that, but it just feels a little too on the nose. And like her personality, you can tell she's been through some trauma. She's making a few jokes about men that, she sort of hates them. And it's sort of like she's the other side of the coin of Jai Courtney's character, who they were saying in the interview, the director, how him and Jai Courtney built up this backstory for the guy so Jai would know what he's going into, like who this guy is. And basically, he had a really young mother, they were saying, probably like 15. And, it was mummy issues, basically. So they both had parental issues, which has come out as hatred of the opposite gender, and they're showing it in extremely different ways. He's feeding tourists to sharks, and she's having problems in her dating life, getting close to men. So very different ways of showing it, but it's the same root issue there. So I feel like that was an interesting theme. And yeah, there was nothing wrong with Zephyr. She did a good job, but I do feel like I would have liked to just see a little more vulnerability there towards the end. And you do see it eventually. Like, they have a romance that I did enjoy. Like, don't get me wrong, I liked it. I was invested in their story, but at the same time, I do feel like it sidelined the, the main plot, and I would have liked to see more of that. Even if it meant adding an extra 15 minutes to the movie, I would have been fine with that. I was having such a good time. Just give me more of the villain and his backstory and his origin. I just wanted to see more of him. So the marketing for this movie was basically non-existent, and that really frustrated me because the way marketing is at the moment, it's like so over-aggressive. Like with Ballerina, Lilo and Stitch, they had clips like 5 times a day, and on the flip side, there's movies like Dangerous Animals or The Ritual, which is out in cinemas now, and I'm not reviewing it because everybody I trust says it's a really bad movie. But still, like, you wouldn't even know that movie existed. There's just such a divide in how they market movies now. They need to find more of a center. And this movie had a tiny budget probably compared to the big blockbusters coming out this summer. Well, it's winter here in Australia, but still I feel like that doesn't mean it shouldn't get more attention. And like with the Ballerina movie, I enjoyed that. I've got a review out if you want to see it. I'll link it at the end. But still, that movie wasn't as good as this, and it shows that budget isn't the thing that really determines how good a movie's going to be, even though this had probably a tiny amount of money put behind it, which showed probably in the marketing, but still, I enjoyed it more than most movies I've seen this year. So I feel like there was a good amount of tension, and the use of sound and the cinematography really added to the tension. Like even the shots of the villain and his truck and the way that the sound was added in those moments, it was all just so menacing. And I was really impressed with how good the sharks looked, which is why I would have liked a little more focus on the sharks, because this is definitely a serial killer movie with sharks in it, not the other way around. And I would have liked to see more of them, because finding a shark movie where the sharks actually genuinely look good is really hard. It's like a needle in a haystack of fake CGI needles. So the director was saying how 80% of this was real. Like they shot all the scenes underwater. They were all real. And it's just the fins that they had to fake. And yeah, there was this one shot at the end with a shark that really impressed me. And I appreciate how the director didn't want the sharks in this movie to be portrayed as mindless killers, just monsters, and how he wanted the focus to be on how the human was the real predator. And he was saying how since Jaws came out, people have been killing sharks so much because they see them as mindless monsters. And yeah, I found that really interesting, because obviously in a shark movie, you do want to see that, people getting eaten, because that's what you go to these movies for, which I admit is a bit messed up, but hey, that's what they're there for, right? It's shark exploitation, but still, at the same time, I didn't want to just always see them attacking, because I feel like that added a level of realness to the movie. And yeah, I just felt that was something a little different, because we don't often see sharks portrayed in a way that's realistic. So overall, I had a really good time in this movie. I would definitely recommend seeing it in the cinema. So let me know down below, what's your favorite shark movie? It's definitely one of my guilty pleasures. Well, why should I say guilty? I have no guilt over it. I love creature features. Deep Blue Sea, The Meg, which I'm still hoping we get a third one. There's so many good ones. Like the Bait one I said earlier, I think that's free on YouTube at the moment. So feel free to like, comment, subscribe. I would give this movie an 8 out of 10. So I will see you guys in the next video.